Good morning. Welcome to E44 Lofts. Just wanted to take some time to introduce each pair for this year. Try to take more of a, hey, I'm talking to my friends approach. I've enjoyed a lot of the videos made by some of the other guys on YouTube. So I want to start with this pair because this seemed to be my best pair from this past year, 2022. All their babies flew lights out. The cock, blue bar on the right, was bred by Paul Daniels, Flying D. He's a mixture of a bunch of different birds. He's a grandson of Flying D's Miss Lucille. The reason I got this pair is because a buddy of mine was getting out of birds back in 2020. At the end of 2020, he decided he was getting out of birds. Well, in 2020, no, I take that back. In 2021, he was getting out of birds. Well, in 2021, he had given me a son off of this cock. He'd given me a couple of sons, but one of them got hawked. The one that I still had, he just kept coming high every race. Well, he wound up being third champion bird of our club for 2021. So when my buddy said he was getting out of birds, I'm like, okay, well, I want the cock. I couldn't get the hen because the hen had already been purchased by somebody else, but I got the sister to the hen, and that's the sister right there, the blue check. She flew in the Lucky 17 in 2019, and she placed third at 150 miles, first at 250, and 23rd at 354. So she did really well. She won some money in the Lucky 17 of that year. Her sister, the one that was the dam of the bird that was third champion bird, she wound up being the second champion bird of Lucky 17 in 2020. So when he sold those two, because I had the son that was off of this cock, I really wanted this pair when I knew he was getting rid of them. And so I was put them together. You know, you don't always get the same results from a sister that you do from the other sister, but I had high hopes. So here's what they produced for me this year. I sent one of their babies to the Hoosier this year. At the 250-mile race, that bird placed 39th and 162nd on the final. Won a little bit of money, basically won its entry fee back plus a little bit. And then out of the whole four races, that bird was 39th average speed. That's out of 4,000 pigeons initially entered into the set of races. That bird wound up having 39th average speed. I had two birds that I flew here at home. One of them was a hen. She was in the top 20% for me at 300 miles. And she was my first bird back at 200 miles. She was in the top 25%. Then I had a son of her and him that was top 10% at 150 miles and then top 20% at 300 miles, and he was the first bird to my loft. Then the best I'm saving for last, I sent a bird to Adrian P., and he was number 72. The cock on the right, his name is Taurus. The hen's name is Rexella. My daughter named the cock because he looks like a little bull. And the hen was named whenever I got her, so I usually just keep the names whenever they've already been named. But we named their son T-Rex, and he flew for Adrian P. He was band number 72, and at 130 miles, he was in the top 10%. At 288 miles, he was in the top 20%. And we talked about this bird all year. Adrian kept telling me he looks really good. He's top perch bird. He's training really well, and he's doing really well. So we just kept talking about him. Well, it wound up on the classic race, which was 373 miles to Adrian's loft. He wound up being the third place bird. He was 8 minutes out of first place and won a little bit of money. So that was nice. So out of this pair, two out of the four birds that I raced won money. So I'm really proud of that pair. They were my best pair this year. One last thing I forgot to mention. Little Loft on the Hills. That's definitely one of the pairs that I'm sending you a baby from. They're a little shy of the camera, and they're sitting on eggs, so I'm going to make this one quicker. The cock on the right, his name is Geppetto. He's down from Houben Lions, from Pinocchio and Queen Elle, and he's got, of course, gel rose ears from Queen Elle. The hen on the left is a sister to Rexella. Her name is Roxella. Rexella, of course, was my best producing hen from this year. Roxella, in 2021, I sent a baby of hers to the Hoosier. Its best performance was on the final. It placed 212th on the final. It won its entry feedback. In 2022, this past year, she had a daughter that was, in the 3 races that I flew her in, she was in the top 20% every race. She's a really nice looking red check hen that's a daughter of one of Adrian P's birds. The cock, he has a daughter that was flown by John Gutierrez of New Mexico that was 13th at 231 miles, first at 302 miles. The very next race, it was equal first at 350 miles, second place, but clocked with the winner, and then 19th at 406 miles. So he has produced winners. His grandchildren are winning for a buddy of mine out in Georgia. So I've high hopes, but it's still an unknown whether they'll produce as good for me as they did for John and my buddy in Georgia. Really nice looking pair. Anxious to see what they do. Probably gonna send 1 or 2 of these out to maybe a one loft race, or definitely 1 or 2 to Adrian P. Adrian P gets first pick on just about everything. For those of you that didn't know, I send him the best that I can possibly send him, so because I get bragging rights.